studios in Ontario, California, it's Foobar Sports.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh.
I'm the Foo.
And we got Josie on the mix.
Oh yeah!
And we also got a special guest with us today, Levante. How we doing, Levante?
It's a beautiful day.
Welcome to Foobar Sports, episode 24. You can find us at our episodes on FoobarShow.com or any podcast app. And join us as we record on our Facebook group, Foobar Sports.
Now we'll have Levante play the normal role as Foo, where he doesn't know much about the sports going on.
Right.
And you, sir, can you just shut the hell up?
Just sit quietly.
I can do that.
You need to be like a child, man.
Nah,
Seen,
don't do that.
but
You
not
gotta
heard.
start it off. So help me get warmed up.
Okay.
That's right, man. We want stats thrown out.
I need to
Yeah,
show him the
man.
ropes real quick. Hang on. Let me get a few jabs in.
All right.
All right, get him out of your way. Let's go. Let's hear it.
I don't have anything right now.
Crazy. What a
Can't
setup.
perform on spot.
rush
Can't-
the gun,
What the
man.
fuck? I got whiskey dick, son.
Oh, I bet. Man, well, there's been a lot going on. We'll obviously be talking about some MLB news. Obviously, we'll talk about the finals, as they're one of the biggest things going around right now. Mm-hmm. But I kind of want to start off with MLB first. There have been some interesting events that occurred this past week. There was the Dodgers coming back against the Mets.
Yeah.
Down 7-9.
That was sick.
Dude, that was great.
That was a great game.
That was a
The
great game.
Dodgers look fantastic.
The
right now.
and this last night, they actually came back against the Phillies with a walk-off home run by Will Smith. His first ever home run was a walk-off against the Phillies.
Oh.
Which a lot of people are saying that's pretty much the preview of the National League Championship right there.
Okay.
It's going to be the Phillies and the Dodgers, and it's going to be a crazy-ass game.
Dude, and they smacked the Phillies today, 8-0.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So
Yeah, my buddy went to the game too.
The Phillies
I'm pretty
are still
sure he had a
supposed
great
to be
time.
competitive, right?
yeah, because they have Bryce Harper.
They landed,
just
they
got
landed the
JT
big fish, Foo.
They got
That's right.
John Segura. They got Hoskins, who's supposed to be their in-farm system guy that's badass.
Mm-hmm.
They also have JT Realmuto, the catcher that they traded from the Marlins, the Miami Marlins. And he all of these guys are hitters. So the fact that the Dodgers were able to blow him out today, that's great signs for the Dodgers going forward.
Thank God the
so
fresh.
cool.
Thank God the Fresh Prince won us the game. Last night, too.
Will Smith, he actually walks up to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air music as his walk-up music. So
Was the Fresh Prince really in the game?
No,
No,
it's
no.
a guy
I'm just
named Will
fucking with
Smith.
them.
Will Smith, but
okay.
he
Just another William Smith.
just another William Smith that just so happens to use that. I mean, that's clever
pretty
as
dope.
fuck.
That's
For the-
dope
for the
though-
Phillies?
That's dope though that he
No,
uses
he's for the
Fresh
Dodgers.
Prince
For the Dodgers,
song.
I'm sorry.
he's
Okay.
That's pretty
he's a-
G.
Imagine if he was from Phillies too. Anyway. Yeah,
Hush.
Hush. Bellinger's on fire. So much so, they've been on fire so much so that a pitcher by the name of Noah Syndergaard, came out and alleged that the Dodgers were cheating against the Mets this past week.
The Mets are just mad that they suck.
You're telling me, buddy.
What?
So
Said lies.
yeah, exactly. So far, this is what Noah Syndergaard said after his game. He
All right,
said,
let's hear this bullshit.
"This is
dude.
from a report from Michael J. Duarte. Noah Syndergaard was puzzled on how the Dodgers were able to get to his fastball up and early in the game. I feel like the only way they could have gotten to that was to cheat." And
Did he propose any ways of that they could have cheated?
well, he said, like I said, we were a little perplexed with some of the pitches they hit. It seemed they were well executed with really good stuff.
That's one of the best compliments you could get.
Right? As a Dodger,
How is that?
Let's keep this cheating going then.
Well,
Yeah.
and then the
What
Mets
the fuck?
managers alluded
They
to
played very, very well,
Yeah.
almost to capacity.
They played
almost
too
like they were
well.
executing everything that they were practicing.
right. It's dumb. Like
That doesn't happen in this organization.
No,
Why
sir.
should it happen elsewhere?
You mean we're supposed to do our job? He also said
those
today.
guys are making us look bad?
Right. He also said today was the worst day of my career, worst game of the season for me. I thought I threw excellent pitches, threw strikes, I threw the ball where I wanted to, and they just got me.
Loser! You're a loser! Are you feeling sorry for yourself?
Thank you, Hank Hill. You need to go to this guy's house and just get in his face right now.
Well, you should be, because you are dirt!
That's right, Noah
You
Syndergaard.
make me sick, you big baby! If you want a bottle, a big dirt bottle!
Oh. I mean, look, the Dodgers are right now ahead of their game. To be on a little serious note, the Dodgers are actually way ahead of the game because I just found out that they are actually one of the first teams implementing a virtual reality analytics to their studying into how they go about playing.
Jesus Christ!
So they literally have like these VR goggles. They have them during batting practice. And they have them throwing the pitches of the pitcher. Like, they see literally the other pitcher aside from them and throwing simulated balls from past game tape.
Wow.
So they pretty much got all their previous game tape of Noah Syndergaard or other pitchers like that, and they simulate that ball going past them every time. So they can tell some pitches.
Josie, have you catched any baseball on TV lately? If you have, then you would see when they go back from striking out or making a bad play.
Right.
Dude, they go back to the dugout and there's iPads everywhere and them rewatching what they did wrong.
Oh,
It's fucking
to study
crazy.
They're going like taking it.
They've
They're using technology to its fullest, man. And they're one of the few teams that are doing it, and that's why it shows.
And I love that because that means more dingers, more entertainment when you're actually at a ball game. It's
Speaking
great.
of more dingers, we had over 1,000 home runs in the month of May. And that's the first time in Major League Baseball history that we've had over 1,000 runs.
That's what's up right there.
Home
Nice.
runs, I'm sorry. That's crazy. But do you think the balls are juiced, Fu? Do you think they juiced the balls to make them go out of the park more?
You know what's funny? They actually had a rule change in 2017 for the balls. So, I mean, even if they are, who cares?
No, but that's the thing. MLB is like adamant. The only reason why it's a topic is because the MLB is so adamant that we're not juicing the balls. No
You
way.
can't juice balls.
That's
cheating. That would be cheating, right?
Yeah. Well, and what the
My
flu-
balls juice you.
Yeah. What?
That's like deflated footballs and stuff.
Right,
You know?
right.
Exactly.
Easier
Yeah,
to catch.
yeah, make it easier to catch, or
Yeah.
like they're tighter. Like so, they change the manufacturer of the ball, so the ball's a lot more wound tighter, so it makes it easier to bounce.
It pops
more.
easier.
So that's why they're saying that it's popping more because there's like it's weird. Like they said, that if you get an old baseball before the change and you compare them, you could feel that one is much far tighter than the other.
All right,
one.
here's the thing. Is it just that one team?
No,
Or is it all
no. It's
teams?
standard now across
Standard.
the league.
Okay. Across the
then
league.
What?
Of
It's
course,
it should be all
conditions,
should
man.
be all good then, right?
Yeah.
Right? The winner, no one's fucking cheating.
It's all the pitchers are just pissed because
Deflategate.
yeah.
I
The
feel that.
opposite
Okay.
way.
Yeah.
The opposite.
Inflate-gate.
The inflate gate.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just all the
They
pitchers
literally
are just.
explode.
Sometimes if it's happened a few times. Remember one hit a bird
Yeah.
and it blew up a
Yeah.
bird. That was nuts. Was that Mark McGuire or Sammy Sosa?
It's one of them.
One of them.
Sammy Sosa.
I think it was Sammy. Yeah, Sammy Sosa.
So-
he hit a ball so hard that a bird was flying and it crossed paths and it blew up. All you see is nothing but feathers.
Yeah.
Like poof.
It's like a gun.
Yeah.
a cannon
Pretty
at
much.
that point.
Yeah, a cannon.
Oh hell yeah!
It's exactly what it is.
it
It's a
go-
little cannon.
It goes out in like
Ball.
upwards of 200 miles per hour as soon as it hits off of that bat.
Is
Whoever
it just
that hits
juice
will
balls like
fuck 'em
that?
up.
Or both balls? That's
Both.
the issue. Like, what's the
Well-
difference between the two? What's the problem with juice balls?
Well,
What are
juice
they?
balls, like I said, it's a lot tighter. So as the bat hits it, it launches a little bit quicker.
In essence, to not be as technical, it's easier to hit the ball farther.
You get more distance out of the juice
Yeah.
ball, whereas
So
a
it's
regular ball,
So technically, it's easier to hit home runs.
So you get more of them.
you get
Yeah.
more
Throughout
distance
the
and more
league.
velocity.
That's why we have the 1,000.
That's why it's
this
been over
year.
1,000. That's
That is some bullshit then.
well.
You should be a sports writer.
There it is.
Go back. You got to take the balls back to the original because all these people set records. You know, like all these
It's the-
people
and
did shit with original.
That's
balls
the
with
argument that the
standard.
old heads have. Like all of the old heads are saying that it's diminishing the game. It's not an essence of the old game.
Yeah.
You know, like now
not.
you can't tell is it really strength and skill or is
Repugnant.
Yeah, maybe. Is it repugnant?
It could be.
Like, possibly.
Yeah, perhaps.
Now you're just picking drops out of the hat, aren't you? There, you
I could be.
fuck.
Shut up! Shut your goddamn mouth!
Oh wow. Okay, I'm sorry, Cartman. But yeah, they won't admit it. But I believe that they are
Personally, because they've made that standard, I don't see a problem with it. I'm just interested to know how much of a difference this is really making.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, is it negligible? Like fucking 5 feet? Like that, I'm okay with. But if it's like 45 to 50 feet, it's like, all right, well, now I can see reason why people are upset.
Yeah,
but like I
because-
said, if it's something small or minute enough where it's like a couple of feet, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree, but
So it could be all the analytics. They're just they know what to expect a little bit sooner when going up against their next opponent.
What?
yes, going back towards the Dodgers
And they practice
their-
towards
and
that.
analytics plays a larger role, I would say, in baseball than it does in basketball and football. Though they do have their advantages in both basketball and football. I think in baseball, like they've really gotten it down to a science. Like if you look at when the Tampa Bay Rays won that World Series, it was purely off analytics. They didn't really. The only player that was really making any money was Evan Longoria.
And he's not the same player now.
No, not at all. But like there was no one really else on that team. It's just
Right.
that they were able to. I think what they do is they look at the best statistics. You may have a shitty batting average, but if your on base percentage is over 1,000, then fuck it. You know what? You may not hit all the time, but at least you're going to
It's
be
crazy.
on base
They
more than
they
time.
did exactly what the Dodgers did the last two World Series, but won. So
No,
that's why
yeah.
the Dodgers attempted it.
Right.
It's because it can win.
Well, pitching obviously plays a huger factor in that too. So if you don't have great pitching, then you're
And your
gonna,
playoffs are shit.
yeah, as you've seen with the Dodgers this
Right.
last World Series.
Right.
So I want to move on to another topic that happened in baseball this past week. It actually happened at a Cubs-Astros game and involved,
Ooh, yeah.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yep, I already know it.
It actually involved a foul ball by the Cubs player Albert Almora Jr. So while he was at bat, he hit a foul ball. I believe it was down the left field line. Mm-hmm. It was down the left field line, and he said, and I quote that he's like, as I hit the ball, I followed the ball, and I can immediately see the young girl's face from when the foul ball hit. And he pretty much hit a young girl straight in the face with the foul ball line drive.
Yeah.
With like a
And-
90 to 100 mile an hour
Ooh,
fucking
easy.
ball.
Easy
Yeah.
and easy. It's easily that much. I
Is
think.
she okay?
Well, they immediately had to take her into.
I don't think we know.
We don't really. I think she's
No,
okay.
no. Days later, no. She's still there.
She's
She's
still in
still
critical
being
condition,
observed.
right?
She's still being
This was
observed.
last week.
Yeah, this is last week
Wow.
on I
It's been a
think
few
Tuesday
days
or
now.
Wednesday. Yeah, it's been a few days.
Okay.
She's still in the hospital.
Yeah, and it's dangerous. It is dangerous to
Yeah,
be on
dude.
those and just at those games, especially if you're not sitting.
You don't think, yeah.
Yeah, if you're
That
not
you'll get
sitting,
hit.
if you're not sitting behind home plate or somewhere where that big net's at, chances are you may get a stray ball. So you got to be on the lookout.
It's
at
crazy.
all
I
times.
was listening to a ESPN sports broadcast at night, and one of the guys actually fessed up and saying he's just like, you know what? I always thought it was super cheesy and corny for people to bring their gloves to games, but he's just like, holy shit, dude, they can save like
You
kids'
could save lives, dude.
Yeah.
with the gloves, and he totally changed his stance on it. He said, and he's all for it. And they brought up a bunch of good rules. Like for example, I think it was 2 years ago or this past season where they actually have moved the nets up to the third baseline. They
Yeah.
weren't there before,
Oh, wow.
so they were recently told to move them up. So now the issue is, do they just contain the stadium?
And I was going to ask you. I was going to ask you that question. Should they contain the stadium up until the foul pole lines and at least leave the back bleachers or that back home run area? Leave that alone, because sometimes they're further enough, at least in those sections, where they're not going to get hit as
Pretty
hard.
much the bullpen at that point.
yeah, they will not get hit as hard.
Whereas the foul ball lines,
Because the one he
can
hit the
get
girl
hit.
with, it hit her within a second and a half.
yeah, 'cause-
Fucking almost instantaneously, dude.
Can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
no, you
When
can't.
you're that close.
And the only thing you can do is putting netting that can at least catch it. Or
Now, Josh, you also brought up a good point a little bit earlier today, where if you're gonna net the stadium, do you know when you have a foul ball, but players are still able to reach into the crowd to catch it? At what point does it become an assist by the net, or like where's the line?
I don't think they would be out because, interesting fact, Japan has been using full nets since the 90s.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's why a bunch
Full
of
nets. Like the entire thing's
the
enclosed.
entire
No
thing's
home runs.
enclosed. Yeah. Well, yes, home runs, they're allowed, but no, theirs completely covers.
They're in
Yeah.
a cage.
Yeah.
pretty much,
So no
of-
fan
of
can ever get
sorts.
hit by a ball, even a home run.
Okay.
No home runs.
No,
no.
well,
And you
the-
can't catch a foul ball.
No,
either.
no.
Yeah,
Where
they
is
don't allow them to catch. If it goes into the net, you can't play it.
Yeah.
it's a foul.
They
Crazy.
should make it a springy net so like it shoots back really fast, and if you catch it, they should give you something.
Yeah, that's what I was
You
thinking
know?
too. Well, no, at least give it some
Pat on the
give.
back or what?
Give it some give.
It's going
because-
like 5
well,
or 50 miles an hour. Like 90.
They should. God damn it! When will we learn the Japanese know what they're fucking doing? Like in everything,
that.
outside of sports too. God damn it!
man.
in life.
I can stand behind that.
We just need a bigger embassy over there.
Yeah, someone needs to go learn. We need Joe Torre over there to go.
So I'm in
take some
favor.
pointers.
I'm in favor of the full nets. What do you guys think? Should they have the full? And again, this isn't just the nets to the foul. This is like Japan, full net.
On top too, though. That's the thing.
no, on top you can't do anything.
You
on
can't
top.
do on top, but they could put it straight up.
They
around
can make
the
it go
stadium.
over though. You know,
Well, if you hit a ball that high or that hard out,
it's gonna go right. They're good.
the chances is like 1 in a million.
Yeah, it's not most of the time when it's hit straight up.
You can catch it.
You should
Yeah,
be so
you should
happy
be
to
so
be
happy.
struck.
Yeah.
Like they're not going
By
to
a
make
ball.
they're not going to
You're
make
playing those kinds of
they're not
odds.
going to make said net a dome. It will be just protecting the outside far enough where you won't get hit.
And you got to think about it too. Majority of the time, it's going to arch. I mean, when you hit it, it's going to arch depending on your launch angle. So
I don't think they should put netting up in the home run area. They should leave that open.
only for places where hold on. Only for places where
Just
there are
the V.
stands. Where there are stands, you should. But if it's like some parks where it's just open, I think Angel Stadium, like there's a section where it's just open, it's like fountain.
But then Texas, I'm sorry, Texas, Houston Astros, they have the left side of their stadium. It's the wall with the scoreboard, and then above that, a couple of seats, not box seats, but legit seats.
Yeah, and you should have a fence right there or something right there. That's what I'm saying. If it's places where people can actually stand, yes,
like
I
the
believe-
Green Monster, only
yes.
at the top of the Green Monster,
Yes.
right?
If it's something, places like that, that way you're not going to get people that are going to get fucking smacked in the face.
Because, like I said, they've already moved the nets.
No, okay.
And this happened.
I understand.
And this happened.
I get your point, Fu, but only if they at least make the rule that if it touches the net, it's out of play. Because they cannot allow that to be any type of assist to the defending.
Yeah,
to the
'cause
defense. That's an unfair advantage on one side.
Well, all right. Well, if the Japanese do it, I'm totally about doing it. That's my favorite culture. But
Yeah.
the thing is, what do you mean by it's not an assist? Like,
So, right now in baseball, when the ball goes out of on the foul line, which is usually on the long from home to third, they still have an extra amount of space. So sometimes if it's going in the crowd, the player can kind of jump in the crowd and you can catch it
And he can still get the out.
And he can still get the out as long as it doesn't touch the ground. As soon as
Or
the
a
ball
fan.
touches,
yeah,
or a
I know,
fan.
but what do you feel about I guess the parts where it would just be a home run, but people still are. If we're talking about a complete closed dome,
That's
then,
what I just said. I don't think that area should be enclosed. Because
If
people who are sitting in the home run area will be expecting something coming towards them, I would hope.
Yeah.
And maybe even be more prepared to be able to look out for something like that. And by the time it gets to them, the ball's not going as fast. It got some arch time.
You should then be more encouraged to bring a glove. Then, I would say, if you're going to be sitting in that area,
Or you can be the designated hitting station.
I think you're already-
exactly.
I don't
Take
know.
precautions,
Yeah.
label it.
I understand
blast
where you're
them.
coming from, but it's already like a dicing up an issue where it's like, okay, well, fuck, what if when that happens, when some little kid gets hit in that part of the stadium, now are we gonna have a fucking net again? Like this whole.
So you think it's a slippery slope a little bit?
Yeah, if them to leave
What end?
Yeah, to what end? Like they should just fucking put them up and then prioritize fan safety.
Just
and
nerf it. Just
Yeah.
nerf the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right away.
Basketball.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
They should use more of those cannons to give the shirts.
Yeah. No, you couldn't be able to. There's a net in the way.
No, they could lift them.
Oh shit.
They could lift them.
No, they won't. No, and then they should just be stationary if you're going to be
Don't
doing
even
something
bring
like
it up
Oh,
anymore.
fuck,
That's
get outta here.
awkward.
Yeah.
You
thing
think
now.
that fucking
Come on, man.
200 pound?
Do you believe any of that shit?
200-pound net's just gonna. Yeah, never mind.
Shut up, fool!
Thank you. I was waiting for that. Jesus, took forever with that, huh?
Sorry.
Yeah?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was somewhere else.
Well, let's move on to NBA news. That's pretty much the big news going on right now. where we got the finals.
Playoffs?
Dude, fucking
Yeah, playoffs.
Dude, Drake won game 1.
Drake won game 1 of the NBA Finals. It's funny. I never noticed this, but he has a tattoo of numbers of Steph Curry's number 30 and his name Curry underneath it.
Okay.
And then Kevin Durant's 35
with
that
Durant
says
under.
KD underneath it.
Interesting.
And he covered it up with a freaking sweatband during game 1 because he didn't want to show his support for 30 and 35. When Dick, it's on your body 24/7.
Right.
Like you
No,
realize
he turned it off. He put the shade on.
Oh, is that how
Yeah.
you turned it off? You went to sleep?
Yeah, he
Put it in sleep mode.
Put
This
in
is like the
snooze?
rapper, right?
Yeah, Drake the
Yeah,
rapper.
Drake.
He's a hardcore fan of the Toronto Raptors because
he's
obviously from Toronto.
Yeah.
So like during the Eastern Conference Finals, he went up behind one of the coaches during the game, and it was like a good play, and he was like clapping, and then he went behind the coach of the Raptors and started giving him a neck massage, and a lot of people were just like pissed off that he was even allowed to
Pretty much being given
do-
courtside access.
Yeah, being given courtside access where most fans, they're not allowed to go that far
Right.
or into that area. So it got so bad that the NBA pretty much had to tell Drake, just a celebrity, just a fan,
They had to tell him?
they had to tell him that you need to stay out of the coach's box and just stay at the fan section right there. You can get up and cheer from your seat, but you're not allowed to move on the
They're
court.
like, hey, bro, fucking chill, dude.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah. He was
Right.
even talking trash to Draymond Green. Like he called Draymond trash after the game.
What?
Yeah, like you just see both of them face to face, like jawing at each other, and then Steph Curry pulls Draymond away, and they're walking back to the locker room, and you just see Drake mouth, "Trash, you're trash, bro, you're trash." Yeah, these finals are gonna be great. I can't wait to. I hope Draymond punches him in the face.
I would like to see that very much.
They're the new Scotty, or they're the new what the hell's his name? Spike Lee and Reggie Miller. I don't know if you guys remember Spike Lee and Reggie Miller during the
Would
Knicks
have
Pacers
constant fucking like
drawing back and forth, dude. They talk so much shit. Like there was
Did it ever like almost come to blows?
no.
no, but they would always like Reggie Miller would purposely go off on the Knicks and just antagonize Spike Lee. Like he did the choking motion.
one time the Knicks were in a decisive playoff game. The winner wins the series. The Knicks were up by like I think 11 with like 30 seconds left, and Reggie Miller stole the ball 4 times and hit 4 threes in a row.
Yeah.
And he was ever known as the big choke when he did the choke symbol to Spike Lee.
Because Spike Lee was drawing at him saying, "You're gonna choke." You're gonna choke, so that's when Reggie Miller's like, "Okay," and then right after he went up to him, he's like, "You're choking now. Who's
Yeah,
choking,
who's
now?
choking now?
Yeah, so they would go like jaw at it, sick, like to the point now that Reggie Miller's a commentator on TNT that they do not speak at all. Like they still talk shit to each other. Like Reggie Miller hates Spike Lee and will not watch anything.
Continued.
So that again, that begs the question: is Drake now taking over Spike Lee's legacy and being the most
No.
annoying NBA fan?
No.
Why can't everybody be classy like Jack Nicholson?
Right?
Because not everyone's Jack Nicholson, dude.
Yeah.
That's true, man. Jack.
Don't you ever
You know-
forget.
Be a normal
Don't
person.
you ever forget.
You know what though? Jack Nicholson though has been pretty back in the day. He was pretty.
Oh, he used to talk
testy.
mad shit during the finals. Oh hell yeah, he was known to be saying some shit on the sidelines.
Yeah, he's not clean either. Foo.
Oh, didn't the Red Hot Chili Peppers get kicked out of a Laker game because
One
they
of
got
them.
into it
Flea and
with
Anthony Kiedis.
with the refs?
Yeah, Flea and Anthony Kiedis
Yeah.
are big Lakers fans.
Oh man,
So they
They're
were
huge Laker fans.
They were caught talking shit and getting kicked out.
Yeah.
After a game, that was pretty funny.
fucking people. They were, but like they were getting like shouting matches with the players and the refs.
There were
was,
too
causing a delay in game.
many obscenities and low blows.
Yeah, they're being a little more vulgar than they should have in a public area.
Yeah, where there's kids around and everything.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, Fu, KD is actually going to be probably miss game 2.
No, definitely.
Yeah, and he mainly missed game 3 and 4.
He's probable pending follow up. So I've said it before. I think KD might not play.
It's
in the
not
NBA Finals.
the way the finals are looking like right now, with the Warriors taking the decisive game 1. What was it? 118 to 100.
118 and 109.
109. Yeah, it's looking like the Raptors may win it in 5. I think in 5 or 6.
I don't know. I think you got it. So I've been listening to a bunch of reviews all week, and Kawhi didn't have a great game, but he had a good game still.
Siakam had a monster game.
Siakam had
true.
a great game. Lowry did not have a good game.
No, and Lowry's, you know what? He's not the same Kyle Lowry that he used to be a couple years ago. You'll be lucky if he gets you 12. To be perfectly honest.
Right. If he gets you 15 points and 8
at
assists,
least 8
that's a good
assists,
night.
that's a great night. Yeah.
It's funny because Kawhi kind of looks a little slowed down too, and
Yeah.
also Andre Iguodala looks like he may have pulled something as well.
Yeah, and he's been pretty much the leader for the Warriors for these past 5 years. I mean, he won the first Finals MVP with the Warriors, and he's just, obviously they
At the
save
beginning
him.
of this run, yeah.
Yeah, they always save him more close towards the playoffs because they know he is the X factor.
They
for
said
them.
they said that really KD is number 1, and the real number 2 is really Andre Iguodala.
Yeah,
'Cause
not Steph Curry.
he keeps that.
Yeah.
He is a lockdown defender. He is a great shooter. He is a great athlete still.
And he's a great facilitator. Like he's the greatest example of a great point forward.
Yeah.
Like it's he can play down low, but he can also handle the ball. and
Can shoot, can get to the rim and finish.
He's this. You know what, dude? He's this generation's Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because that's how Scottie
Yeah,
Pippen
it's true.
was. If you remember,
That is
like
true.
without Scottie, Michael wouldn't have 6 championships. Like
I
Scottie
think the
was
same
an
with the
X-factor.
Warriors too.
was
Without
right-hand man.
Iguodala, they wouldn't have all their championships.
No, yeah, I
maybe
completely agree.
Kobe and Shaq or Gasol.
Well,
that same kind of dynamic. do you
No,
think?
it would be like with because Kobe and Shaq, they could lead teams by themselves. Yeah, but like it's hard to how do I say this? Like when we had Robert Horry.
Yeah, like
Like-
Robert Horry, but to an extent because Robert Horry did come in clutch when we needed him to, albeit he didn't light up every game.
No, he didn't. But he was a good defender. He was one of those great role player guys that you just knew that he can always back you up, that you
Right.
can count on him no matter what. And that's exactly what Iguodala is for the Warriors. And for them to not have
Both of those guys,
not let alone KD, which he could arguably be considered the best player in the world right now. To not have him and then your X factor, it's going to be a long road ahead for the Warriors against the Raptors.
And I think a lot if by some way, because a lot of people thought that Golden State would win game 1 and then maybe Raptors win game 2. If Raptors can go up 2-0, holy crap, dude! Like Warriors need to start worrying because DeMarcus Cousins is hurt too. He only played 8 minutes last game.
He never didn't score a single field goal. It was mostly all free throws that he got his points from.
Warriors be worrying, foo.
The Warriors, God damn it!
I think
Proud of that one?
A little bit.
I think the
Alright.
Warriors enable for them to win today. Sean Livingston will have to have a big game.
Yeah, and he's been pretty quiet most of these playoffs. He's usually
Well,
the one
dude,
that kinda
Kawhi,
blows up.
man, Kawhi is a beast on the defensive end.
Yeah.
and I want to bring something up real quick too, about the future of Kawhi. I believe that it was, kind of leaked that he's going to have a short-term deal in place to stay in Toronto.
I think so. I think he will.
And
Why
then
not?
Another interesting thing too was, I guess they've found out in the last day or so that Kawhi has tendonitis or might have tendonitis
Oh shit! And
Which-
where? In his elbow or shoulder?
in his the same foot or knee. He hurt in San Antonio because he played no back-to-back games this year. So, what do you think? Does he get the contract? Even if, let's say, they win the NBA Finals, does he get that reward contract?
Yeah, I think he will. I
Damn.
think he will because he commands it. Even despite the rumors of tendonitis, I think that he's proven that he deserves that amount of money. Because think about it. If he can join a team like the Lakers and they can get another superstar either by trade or
Oh yeah, they'll win.
then they'll win, and he can rest up a little easier because he won't have to play as much. So it only
now
behooves him for
now-
him to join somewhere else.
Yeah, because now comes in the question. He'll give up $80 million
Right.
Yes.
to leave for the Lakers. He would give up $80 million.
So then if that's going to be a concern for the Raptors, And if, let's say, they don't give him the Supermax, then I think he will come to LA or go or elsewhere.
Would you
know?
still want him with
Yeah.
the Lakers?
Yeah.
Even banged up?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, dude, you just need to save him up. Just save him up for the finals. I mean, if you need to hold him out, then you have a legit reason.
I think he's that type of player too, where
Yeah.
you can save him for the playoffs.
Oh, definitely. You don't need that guy to be a regular season MVP because, as we've seen, doesn't get you anywhere. Look at Giannis. I mean, he's considered the unanimous MVP,
and he got shut down by Kawhi.
He got shut down by Kawhi. So obviously, what you do in the regular season does not always translate to postseason success. And in order for in order for Kawhi to keep that up, he's going to have to rest up a lot during the regular season. But that should beg the question: should the NBA cut down the regular season games back to 62 or like 69? Or 68.
I think cutting off 12 games, 8 from 82 to 70 is good.
Yeah, that'd be a good
because we're running into this issue where injuries are more frequent now. I talked about this on a podcast before. A lot of players nowadays that are getting trained young, they're getting trained inside of gyms, so they're not playing on like the blacktop or outside as frequently. And Dr. Eric Clapper, who's a surgeon for Cedars-Sinai, he suspects, and he's not been able to test it really, but he suspects that because kids have moved to been playing inside and training for basketball exclusively in gyms, that now modern NBA players were that young when that started happening, that they're lacking in vitamin D that the sun gives them, which is why there's been a lot more basketball injuries coming up.
Yeah,
okay. Pretty crazy, huh?
It's a crazy correlation, I mean, that makes sense when you think about it. They're not outside.
Yeah, because we're protecting them now. They're like, you can only play inside a gym.
Yeah,
like we're doing that now.
Yeah,
never used to be like that.
No, yeah, a lot of kids are primarily like in those AAU leagues, like those huge.
NJB?
Yeah, NJB, where you're primarily only playing inside. You don't play outside. Like, the only times you'll play outside is if you're going to be playing a street ball game or you're playing at school. But even at schools now, they're allowing them just to go in the gym just because they don't want them to get fucked up outside on the blacktop. So I
put on some sunscreen.
You serious? I used to love the days playing basketball.
I used to love playing basketball outside too, because you'd be sweaty as fuck, and you're like, hell yeah, I'm still J'ing it up.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I used to ball out in my pants. Like, I would just be wearing jean pants, and I'd still be able to ball out on the basketball court. It was fun. I miss the days. Those were the days. Word. Well, there's other stuff. There's lastly, but certainly not least. We got the
goddamn Lakers.
The goddamn Lakers they just cannot stay out of the limelight right now in the worst possible way.
Why they keep getting in their own way?
You know what, dude? Magic Johnson's been a real pest.
He didn't help. Damn it. He didn't help cause this, man. So recently there was a new report via ESPN's Baxter Holmes that pretty much was like an inside report about the inner workings of the Lakers organization during this past year. Yeah. And the title of the article, you can find this on ESPN, it was Lakers 2.0, the failed reboot of the NBA's crown jewel. And
insanely long article, by the way.
It's a long article. It's a read, but I mean, if you're on the shitter, it's worth the read.
If you're on the shitter, don't be on your goddamn phone.
Look, man, that's the new age. That's the new age talking about, dude. That's the new age magazine. What are you talking about?
You got to get in there, handle business, and get the fuck out.
No, you know what? No.
That's the most peaceful moment in your life.
You cannot tell me. You cannot limit my bathroom time.
Yeah,
sir.
man.
I thought this was America.
Thank you, Randy.
I thought this was America.
Thank you.
I think Nelson reminded us last week that even Targets have a 15-minute.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Well, all right.
The bathroom is the last bastion of American society. Cartman, South Park.
Yep.
Season 9.
Oh God! Anyways,
it's true. What were we saying? True.
The dumpster fire again?
Yeah. The
Seinfeld episode that is the Lakers. Stupid.
Yeah. Goddamn. So there was reports that during Magic Johnson's
Magic Jordans
during Magic Jordan's first month in early February, he gathered up all of the people in the basketball organization and you know, and the staff, and he gave them, you know, a nice little greeting and everything, right? So his first remarks, Johnson said that, you know what, he expressed excitement about the task ahead of him, but he also made clear he didn't accept excuses or mistakes. And those who weren't on board with the new management and their mission should leave, according to 6 staffers who were present. So pointing upstairs towards his office, Johnson drove home his point. He had a large stack of resumes sitting on his desk, 1,000 of them. Multiple staffers recall him saying that he could replace any one of them at any time.
Yeah.
And apparently this caused some people some anxiety because he was very tyrannical in his way of
Like a tyrant?
yeah, he was, it was his way or the highway, pretty much how he was perceived. So much so that they found out that during the NBA draft, most of the time in drafts in NBA, NFL, or things like that, you have the head coach, the GM, the scouts all in one room. Like they're just all around like a big boardroom table. They have a board up and they talk about upcoming players. And so that's when the scouts will give you reports, you know, give you suggestions and stuff based off of their reports. Not the Lakers. The Lakers decided, you know what? We'll make a room for them you know what? They went the Raiders way, and they decided to have their scouts and not everyone else in a separate room from Magic and Rob Pelinka.
What?
And they did, and so
Son of a bitch.
Here was an example of what happened. Apparently, they had one player from Villanova. I forget his name off the top of my head.
Plays for the Hawks.
Yeah, he plays for the Hawks now. Salinger, I believe, is what his name was. And they had him high. The scouts had him high on the draft board, and he was the next available.
He was the best player available.
So instead, Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson decided to pick Moritz Wagner, who was number 3 on that list. And they passed up to number 1. So a lot of the scouts were like, what are you doing? Like, why did you do this? And they asked them, and according to Magic and Rob, they decided that it was best based off of the recommendation from former player Josh Hart, who used to play with Salinger at Villanova.
Yeah.
And Josh Hart came out and said, wait, no, I didn't. Like, I didn't. They're
just making up stories now?
I didn't tell them. He's like, I didn't tell them not to pick him. You know, I just told them how it was when I played with them.
Right.
So, that's story number 1 as to the
man.
dysfunction of the Lakers. Story number 2 was immediately after Magic. Remember, he had that press conference saying that he'll step down if they don't get somebody after the draft. Remember that, Fu, before the free agency, before they got LeBron last year?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, after that, you know, then they get LeBron. Great. So, a little after, they immediately started signing some questionable free agents, like JaVale McGee, Lance Stevenson, things like that. And no one understood what the hell they were doing. A lot of the coaches, former coaches, were saying, what are you like? So we're just getting the scraps. We're just getting the nut jobs of the rest of the league.
Yeah.
Because they didn't get any shooters. They didn't get any facilitators. Like, they did absolutely no consulting with the coaching staff and the scouts. They just said, here's our players. Do with it what you will. And they say a lot of it has to do with Magic not feeling like Luke was his guy because he only inherited him. And
So what? Like, work with him, man.
It almost seemed Magic comes off as like a tyrannical child,
seems like it.
Man-child. That's what it seems like, at least.
I hear Ellen and Rosie O'Donnell are the same way.
It just sucks because, like going back to what you said, he just went all the way like, well, I got tons and tens of people who would come in and take your job right away. And it's like, hey, man.
That's not how you run a company.
Hey, man.
That's not necessary.
We've been working here, man. If you're new management, you know, try to bring us along with you.
If you're really going to be doing shit like that, just fire us. Like, if you're really threatening us with the idea that then get rid of us. Like, if you don't want us, then get rid of us.
Quit the threats. That's fucked up.
Yeah, and there were also rumors of Rob Pelinka sitting in on coaches' meetings, and I guess Luke Walton went up to Rob, was like, "What are you doing in here?" He's like, "Oh no, I'm joining on this meeting," and this was confirmed by like George Sedano and Baxter Holmes. They talked about this, that Rob said that he spoke with Bob Myers, the GM of the Warriors, and he said that Bob does that currently and used to do that with Steve Kerr. So, Luke Walton, who had coached on Bob Myers' staff, contacted Bob Myers. He has a personal relationship with him. And he said, hey, is this true that you talked to Rob and you let him know that you sit on meetings? And Bob Myers answered, I haven't spoken to Rob in months. Like, I don't sit on meetings. He's like, I'm too busy to do any of that shit. Why would I do any of that?
Right.
He's like, no. So obviously, that's Rob lying because he wants to see what the hell's going on.
Did you hear that Heath Ledger story?
Yeah, I was going to get to that too.
Good
So
What
Lord.
happened with Heath Ledger? He's the late Heath Ledger?
yeah, so
What the fuck?
So Rob Pelinka has these things called genius talks, quote unquote, where he has celebrities and guest speakers, motivational speakers come in and talk to their players.
All right.
So this was during a visit by The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and Rob then goes on to tell a story about how Kobe, getting locked into roles. Kobe, I recall, working, Kobe Bryant, who I used to work with. He says this and that, and him saying after watching The Dark Knight and seeing Heath Ledger's character, his Joker, looking at how locked into that role he was, he's like, Rob, I need you to get me in a contact with Heath Ledger so I can learn how he locked into that role.
Yeah.
He's like, so we contacted Heath Ledger, and immediately after, he had lunch with him and asked him how he got locked into the role.
Right.
And that's where Kobe got his inspiration from. But everyone's just like, how is that possible? Because Heath Ledger died
Right.
6 months before it even finished.
Yeah, before the film finished.
Like, there's no way Kobe could have seen an early cut of this movie.
So Rob Pelinka is just fucking full of shit, dude.
Yeah.
He's just a professional liar.
He's a salesman, man.
Yeah.
When you're a sports agent, you pretty much have to be a liar.
And by the way, he's playing that because Kobe's always been like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever since his second year in the league.
And and that's why it can make sense because that's Kobe's personality.
By the
but it's
way,
like,
which was in
come on.
1998.
Yeah.
Don't take away from his personality, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
like don't
real.
use that to your advantage, and that's what I feel he was doing. And it's funny because Stephen A. Smith said that Kobe's livid that his name's even being brought up in any of this shit. He's
Yeah,
like,
Kobe's just like, what the hell?
he's like, I'm not involved in any of that shit, man. I'm just trying to coach my daughter's basketball team. And he's like, I'm not a part of all that. So
and
keep
you
my
know what?
name
There
out of
goes fucking trying to bring in Kobe to help, advise the Lakers.
Yeah, no kidding. Way to burn that bridge.
Yeah,
real
and I'm
quick.
sure Kobe's going to be like, hell no. Like, Rob, what the fuck are you talking
What
about?
are you doing?
that. Nah, man. Yeah, he's gonna stay as far away from this as possible.
Listen, I've got to give a clue here now. I don't want any more bullshit anytime during the day from anyone. That includes me.
Okay, Winnebago
Well, that's
man.
fair.
I mean,
That is fair.
I'll try my best to relay the message, but no promises.
Yeah.
Son of
No
a
problem.
bitch, dude.
Hey, but you know what, man?
The Lakers just keep...
You know what, man? There's still hope. There's still hope because we have LeBron still.
Oh yeah.
We still have LeBron.
Yeah, you forget
we
about
got
that, huh?
cap space. We got a decent head coach in
We
Frank
got the
Vogel.
number 4 pick.
We got the number 4 pick.
All right.
Yeah.
Magic
we can still
Johnson,
make some moves.
Just leave us alone.
And you know what pissed
leave
me
us
off
alone.
too? You know what pissed me off too? Magic said he would come back on July 1st
For free agency.
after free agency starts, back to Stephen A. Smith show.
Right.
And he's like, I'll give another assessment of the Lakers. Magic, stop.
Just stop. Just separate yourself.
Stop bringing
man.
attention to this now.
You're making things worse. You're throwing salt on the wound,
I
man.
would like for it to stop, please.
He's throwing salt and lemon. You know what? He's putting salt in it, and then he's just squeezing the lemon right in that wound. Just a little spit of spit. Throwing some dirt for good measure.
Yeah.
Jesus
for sure.
Christ.
And
dude.
then cauterize it.
Oh.
Yep.
Lock it in.
Lock it in. Lock in that pain. That everlasting pain.
It's okay,
Jesus, man.
Pain don't hurt.
But all's bright with Lakerland. There's
Yeah,
upside.
aside from that, they're fine. They're absolutely
They're
fine.
fine. We're fine. This is what's that meme of that dog sitting on the
Yeah,
coffee table?
this is fine.
Fire
It's
engulfed around.
Engulfed in fire. Jesus,
Oh,
man.
man. Well, you know what, man? Let's get on with these finals. It's about to start up.
Raptors, foo. I'm picking the Raptors tonight.
I'm
Cool.
picking the Raptors too.
Sweet.
How about you? The Warriors there?
Why not? Let's make this interesting.
All right. All right.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. And And make sure to catch us at FoobarShow.com and Foobity Doobity.